Learn more, we turn to criminal defense attorney Jan Ronis. Jan, I have to tell you, this makes me very upset to hear that we're still talking about it, but maybe this time we might actually get justice, as I've been following this case since the moment that I came on air, I think. This case against Epstein is nothing new. We've heard stories before: sex trafficking, underage minors, prostitution, power politicians. But what makes today's indictments garner more attention and obviously, hopefully, more substantiated evidence that can actually lead to something besides just a few days in jail?
Well, what makes this so newsworthy is the fact that he's now been charged, and he's been charged in federal court in New York with very serious offenses which carry at least a minimum mandatory sentence of 10 years. And as I read the statute this morning, I believe life as well. So it's certainly not good news for Mr. Epstein at this point, especially in fact that in view of the fact that he is at least being held without bail until such time as there is a bail hearing on Thursday.
Well, and in this case, though, they are pulling in some of the points from the past. Will the plea deal, which was garnered in Florida in 2007, there was also another case in 2008, is that going to play any role in this latest charge? Will he still be able to come underneath that sort of plea and use that is that applicable in this case being a federal charge?
Well, as I understand from the press conference by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, that agreement only took into consideration alleged acts that occurred in the Southern District of Florida, which is the Miami area. So it gave him no protection outside of the Miami area. And the victims in that case, if they are still willing to testify, certainly could testify in this case, although it's not charged conduct, as I understand it. It could still come in as what's called a prior similar act to show that he did it on another occasion and likely did on this occasion as well.
In this case, as the FBI is asking for more of the victims to step up, and they'll even keep their role anonymous at this stage, does the number and the volume actually matter, or is it just, 5 matter as many as 50, depending on how many women were involved in his trafficking?
Well, given what I've seen described and my experience, vast experience in cases of this nature, the phone starts ringing off the hook after allegations come forth, and sometimes they're legitimate allegations, and sometimes it's just people seeking publicity. But certainly I expect at least to see more allegations surface as the investigation continues, and as publicity is out there that he's now been arrested.
Well, that's the thing. And before, this was kind of a state case. This was all being handled in the Southern District of Florida, Miami. Now it is a federal case. What is going to be the difference between those two cases in the presentation?
Well, these federal sex trafficking crimes certainly carry a more severe penalty than other state-type charges that you oftentimes see. And in fact, there is a minimum mandatory sentence of 10 years. And as I mentioned, I believe it's possible that he could receive life as well. And if other victims come forward, they could certainly give him consecutive sentences with multiple victims. So it's a horrific indictment to be charged with, particularly in the environment today, the post Mr. Weinstein era and the Me Too movement, things of that nature. So it's certainly not a good atmosphere in which to be charged with a crime of this nature. Well,
and Jan, at this point, I'm going to ask you to take your personal out of it and actually address this as a lawyer, a defense attorney, an established defense attorney. A lot of attention's been given to this case because of the powerful people involved. If you were advising Epstein right now, what would your counsel be? And is all this dirty laundry on powerful people enough to get Epstein once again out of hot water?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, this is an allegation, and he's presumed innocent, and the government has the obligation of proving him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and I don't know what the facts of the case are. And Mr. Epstein doesn't have to do anything or prove anything. It's up to the government. Right. But they are tough charges. It's been my vast experience that the federal government doesn't indict people lightly, and at least as a result of the indictment, a grand jury has decided that there's probable cause to believe that he's guilty. But the standard of trial is proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and we won't know till the end, and I don't want to presuppose the evidence, but we all certainly understand that the indictment is certainly catastrophic for Mr. Epstein.
And Jan, that's what makes you such an excellent attorney, and I thank you for advising us. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.